NuttyCast.
Welcome back to the NuttyCast, Season 2. I am here with Replenish, which I feel like sounds like the Dixie Chicks, but it's Kate, Melanie, and Kristen, the founder and the franchisees of the 4 Raw Replenish locations. Long-time Nutty Novelties bulk customer. So they take our peanut butter, our almond butter, our dark chocolate almond butter in bulk form, so like 5-pounders and big 30-pound buckets, to all their locations. And they also sell some of our stuff retail on the shelves for a long time. So first of all, props to you guys for using the best nut butters out there. It's amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, they're also really good people. So very excited to sit down with the 3 of them today. We've never interviewed so many people at once, so we'll see how it goes. It might be a complete disaster. We'll see. But yeah, wanted to start with Kate, with kind of the early days as like the founder. So I remember a friend of mine, Jeanette, was like, there's this weird place. She's like, it's in Red Hill, and I think they do smoothies and juices and maybe acai bowls, and I think they need peanut butter, so you should like go in there. And I was like, that's all I need. This was probably like 2018, 19?
2017.
17?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So 2017, I walk in there, I've got some samples, and I'm like, it felt... I had never been an acai bowl smoothie juice bar quite like this one before. Found a little doctor's office-y.
Yes.
I don't think I even met you that day, but I did get a smoothie, I think, which was delicious. And I dropped off samples, and I'm like, I don't think this is gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
What's happening here?
What's
confusing? Yeah.
You reached out to me after that. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I had dropped the samples, and then sure enough, you reached out, and you're like, I'm interested. I like the stuff. And you've been a customer ever since. And it's been amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about like, so what was that building? Where was I? Were you doing medical procedures in the back?
Maybe. Possibly.
But yeah, tell us about the early days.
Oh, thank you, Caleb. Yes, and it does. It feels like that was yesterday. It really does. And that's exactly how it went down. I think you did. You dropped off samples, and at that point, I had just come out of my home garage. So I had this thing for like dark alleys and dark spaces and things like that. So we were in my home garage, which was like this, 75 square foot space that my husband built out because it had to be separate from the kids and the pets that I started juicing out of. And then within 6 months, we moved to that space.
Wow.
Which was
that felt like paradise, probably.
Yes, oh my gosh. It was. It was. It really was. I actually hired my first 2 employees in my home in that garage. They probably, still friends to this day, they probably were like, all right, let's back up and get out of here. Like, where is she taking us? So
I'm going to be on Dateline.
Yes, I know. So that actually was a massage therapy space, and right next door to it was Bucksmont CrossFit. It was their first location.
Okay.
So that is what really drew me into that space in particular. Was like, oh, it's right next to a gym, and I pictured if I ever were to go from my home garage into a brick and mortar, I would want to be next to a gym. So I was like, all right, I have to make this space work. That office massage room area was literally maybe 10 or 15 square feet more than my home garage. It was really tight. It really looked very sterile. But all the action happened on the second floor. So you place your order in the office, and then you'd go up the stairs. You'd run up the stairs, fought on the steps a few times. Smoothies have gone down those steps many times.
Going upstairs?
No,
you guys go upstairs. I was like, I don't remember an upstairs. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So we transformed, that was just a vacant space up there, and we transformed that, again, thanks to my husband, and his handyman skills, transformed that into a huge commercial kitchen, which is even bigger than my Pennsburg kitchen. So I missed that space. Yeah, it was beautiful, immaculate, tall ceilings.
Wow. I was never in there. I was a customer then.
Yes. Yep. That's where we met. So, yes.
And I want to say it started out with the juices was the first thing, right?
Yep.
The cleanses,
Yep,
which is still a big part of what you guys do today.
it is.
Is that? Would you say that's your main focus?
It's a big part of our business. Because really that's the roots. That's where it began. And yeah.
So tell me a little bit. This could be any of you guys. Tell me a little bit about like the cleanses and like why should I cleanse myself in this way?
Are we going to talk about other ways to cleanse yourself or just the juice cleanse?
Just the juices. Start there.
You were probably best at answering that, but
No, go for it.
okay.
Yeah.
I always suggest a cleanse for a reset. I mean, you just think of it that way. Our bodies are the way we eat, and I say we as a blanket statement, obviously, but we're eating a lot throughout the day, and our digestive system never gets a rest. So when you do a cleanse, you get that rest. It gives your digestive system a break that it needs, and then you're just flooding your body with nutrients. And your body's able to absorb it because you don't have any fiber in your system. So the absorption goes into everything else into your body instead of just kind of pooping that out. You know,
Are people getting fiber from the cleanses?
insoluble, right?
Mhm.
That's what,
Yep.
yes.
Soluble fiber.
Yes.
Soluble fiber. Yep.
Soluble.
Yep.
Okay.
Insoluble is the bulking, the
Okay.
what we get in the fruits and vegetables. We're getting the soluble fiber in the juice, which is really important.
And we remove all the other fiber from it when we
Great.
press it.
Okay.
So you flood your body with nutrients for 1 to 5 days to 7 days if you want, however long you want to cleanse. And then because you're not using all of that energy to digest food, you're getting that energy back. So people feel very energized while they're cleansing. But everyone typically comes in to cleanse to lose weight, and that's never been like our focus on marketing because the other benefits are so much larger. Just like detoxing from environmental toxins that we're every single day breathing in, touching, and skin glowing, so many other benefits that happen with it. And then when you're done cleansing, you just have like intrinsic motivation to eat healthy. You don't want to eat anything bad after it. You're like, wow, I'm just like a clean slate. I'm just going to keep going with like good food.
That makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you guys, if you don't mind me asking, how often do you guys cleanse your own selves?
I do a 3-day every season. So
4 times a year?
4 times a year, my husband and I do a 3-day. And then I do a 1-day whenever I feel ravenous. Like when you're, like I always say, the day after the Super Bowl, when you're like, oh, I feel like absolute crap. I'm just going to keep eating like pizza or whatever. Like you just continue eating badly and you feel like you're never getting full. You're just like eating and eating. That's when I do a cleanse because it just resets you right back.
It's so funny. Last year, the day after the Super Bowl, we had 5 guys, like big guys that came in.
Yeah.
And all did a cleanse together.
Yeah.
Did they?
Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Super
they
Bowl's
all
big-
did a 3-day cleanse, like the day after the Super Bowl. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
Well,
it.
Yeah.
probably because they drank their face off.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Sunday.
right.
Yeah, it's true. And
Yeah.
then you just it just completely
Hydrates
resets
you.
it, rehydrates you.
Yeah.
You're just
And you're not doing any food or anything else during like the 3-day or the 1 day or whatever you're
You
doing.
really-
You're just doing the juices.
you just do the juices, but we do give an option for like rescue snacks, so we don't want you to feel stressed and starving.
Wait, you need a rescue snack.
That's fine. That's fine.
Peanut butter and nut butters are a rescue snack, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep, just letting you know.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. spoonful.
I think giving people the option for that actually keeps them away from
Men-
doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mentally, it's
Like,
like,
it's
oh, I can
I
eat
can
if
eat.
I have to.
Mhm.
but like I
But
don't
then,
do I actually need to?
Mhm.
Because Kate did a great job designing the cleanses. Your blood sugar stays stable throughout the day. I never actually feel hungry. If I'm smelling food, I'm like,
Really?
oh, it smells good. But like in my mind, I'm like, I'm good. Like I'm
Yeah.
good.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
She's
But in all
a
truth-
wizard with
in all
designing the
truth,
cleanses.
day one is fairly easy to do. Day 2 can be very difficult.
Yes.
That's when you just want to like eat
You
somebody's
feel hungry.
face off. It's like,
For me,
that ham looks so good.
for me, day 1 is the hardest. Day 2, I feel so good.
Really?
Belly flat. I'm like, keep it going.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Like
energized.
end of day 2, I feel like that. But late day 1, early day 2, I'm
It's
just
it's
like.
a mental game.
Everyone's
Yeah.
different
Start
though.
talking
Yeah.
But day 3, we
Yeah.
can all agree is
Day
like,
3 is like a dream. Day 3, you're like,
Day 3 is
It's like muscle
amazing.
memory. My husband just did 3
Okay.
days, and then on Saturday morning he woke up. He's like, I want to do 4. I want to do 4 days. I want to do 5 days. He's like, I should have just done 7 days. Like, because he feels so good.
Why?
But he is going from like a all sugar diet of like M&Ms and Skittles to a cleanse. I call him an elf. Yeah.
It's got the elf.
Yeah. There's a trail of candy places in our home. Like, I'm just like, yeah, he loves candy. So he does a cleanse. It's not
Is
like
your husband 6?
yeah. Actually, yes.
That's the problem. You married a child. Okay. So 2017, you're in the what was it, doctor's office, Miss Summer's office building.
Yes.
All right, so 2017 in many ways was a long time ago, but it was not like forever ago. That was actually the year that we moved into Popcorn Works, by the way. I was making stuff on the 3rd floor of my townhouse.
Oh my god.
For that. Approved. We were good, but I was up on the 3rd floor. Same thing. Separate. Stairs.
Do you get the dark, do you get windows? Do you get...
We have windows up there. Yeah. It's my office, my home office now. So it's it's funny because we still use the space, but differently. But that's the same year that we moved into Popcorn Works, which was like a dream. And people are always like, well, it's so, when are you going to grow out of there? And I'm like, I don't ever want to grow out of this place. Like, this place is great. I love it there. It's 5 minutes from my house. Everything's on the 1st floor. I'm like, what more could I ask for? This is amazing.
Guys are like, no steps ever again.
No steps.
Yes, no.
But yeah, so that was, I guess that was 8 years ago. So it wasn't yesterday. So, but now you're franchising. And you've tried a few different locations. So Pennsburg is the main location.
Yep.
And then you've got Souderton, which I can walk to. Love that one.
Yep.
You've got Gilbertsville, where we are now. We're on location in beautiful Gilbertsville, PA. And then Royersford. And we've tried some other locations and stuff like that, and it's been up and down. But I guess my question is really for Kristen or Melanie of okay, there's a million franchises to choose from. If you're gonna buy a franchise or get involved with a franchise, why Raw Replenish?
Want me to start?
Yep.
So my story is that I was not looking to even own a business.
So you were coerced into this against your will?
No, it was just
in the garage.
yeah. You're gonna do it, and you're gonna do it now. No, I just never. I didn't have my eyes on. Oh, what franchise should I join? That wasn't where my head was.
Okay.
For me, what happened? I hope my old boss doesn't hear this, but I hated my job. Which actually, interestingly, I still work for part-time, but yeah. So, but I just couldn't do that anymore.
So it's your current boss.
My current boss, yes.
Oh, that's funny.
I just couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. And
so the wheels were turning, should I do my own thing? What would that even be? I don't know. Open a boutique, do hair, because I do that part-time. But just one day I was talking to a friend of mine, and I remembered that I saw a ad on social media, or a post on social media, that Raw Replenish Kate was franchising. So I'm like, let me just email her, see what this is all about. And now I remembered Kate from the Y, because she would have a table of juices, trying to give out samples, build up traction.
Yep.
So I emailed her, and I think in our first email correspondence, I thought, I have to do this. I have to make this work.
Interesting.
And then we met and we talked, and then it was just a no-brainer for me. So it was never about what franchise do I want. It was more.
You weren't choosing between McDonald's.
No. There was no other option for a franchise.
Yeah.
So, which for some people is a very different situation, but for me, just corresponding with her, meeting with her, I just knew I had to make this work somehow.
So
and this was what year for you?
This was, 2022.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
The end of 2022.
Yep.
Yep.
I remember the ribbon.
So then for me, it was I bought into 3 locations.
Okay.
But it was like, I didn't know, like, where do I go? I was looking at different spaces, but nothing was really, screaming at me. And that's when Kate asked me if I would be interested in taking over Souderton.
Okay.
So she could focus more on.
Which had been a corporate location originally,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And
So
Kate,
that was my first.
great.
My first.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should have started with this. Why franchise and like share the wealth, I guess, as opposed to, keeping 5, 10, however many you want, corporate locations are all under one umbrella. They're all Kate, Coleman, whatever. Why do it this way?
I realized because of opening up Satterton that it was like it was a process that you could duplicate that, and I could have continued to keep going and opening up, and I still am very interested in opening up more corporate locations. And we're transitioning from a franchise model. So I got my feet with franchising, and through that experience, I realized how important having and building relationships, not just with our customers in the community, but having really close relationships with the franchise owners. And we truly are extremely close. And
I kind of felt like this was all just kind of a facade.
it's not.
But you're telling me that's real.
Yeah. I'm not the type of business owner that can just keep signing, like signing on franchises. Like, okay, all right, let's get another one under my belt. Let's get another one. That's never been my approach to business. It's never been, it's not who I am. And I know for some business owners, and I think it's a very, I'm not saying that's a wrong way of doing business. It's a very smart, it's a very wise way of doing business, but building these relationships, it's more important to me. So we're transitioning from a franchise model into a cooperative growth model to open up additional locations, but doing it together. Because all of our decisions are together. It's not just me at the top saying, this is what we're doing, and this is, that dictatorship. And franchising in a way is that. The franchisor has all the control of the top and really just spouts off, and again, I'm giving it a negative connotation. There's amazing franchise brands out there. Obviously, look at the Chick-fil-A and the Chick-fil-A model. I absolutely love that. But I realized I don't have that infrastructure built in. It's just me. There is no human resource department. It is us. So franchising, what I realized very quickly, it became about, all right, I'm trying to work with this franchisee, but yet I want to try to do what they're doing here. And I kind of felt like I was getting pulled in different directions. I don't have that type of, not so much assertiveness or confidence, but it felt like we wanted to make decisions together because they're bringing so much value and experience, not just, I didn't have restaurant experience when I got started. They didn't have restaurant experience, but they have the creativity and they have the heart behind, maybe we should, do it this way and it got to be very overwhelming for me. Yeah. So, it's not so much being about a people pleaser either. It's like, I do genuinely care about their businesses being successful, and without having the backing of a huge corporation, I thought, let's transition. Are you girls on board with, let's open up more locations. Let's continue to grow together. But all brains in, not just me, approving things and signing off on things. Let's put our heads together and let's do this thing. Let's kick this off even further because I know it has the potential. I see it in them. I see them light up in the same way, that same passion, that same burning desire to grow and to build those relationships and expand the menu, and it's exciting. It's exciting.
And to have a healthier community.
Yeah.
You guys are bringing good stuff to the marketplace.
Yep.
That doesn't exist.
Nope. Nope. Yeah.
Especially in the towns that you're putting them in. Towns like Gilbertsville and Souderton by me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we've got the McDonald's and the Wawa and the Dunkin' Donuts. We don't have places for good, fresh, raw food and juice cleanses and stuff like that. So I'm super grateful that you came to my town, and so thanks. I love your mission. I love what you guys are doing. It's amazing. I wanted to ask, what is, and this could be any of you guys, what's a mistake that you've made along the way? Whether it was like
Just one?
maybe no, tell us hundreds. Maybe a menu
Failure,
thing or a location or I don't know. What's a mistake that you might be willing to share about? Because I'm a small business owner. I like to think that other small business owners are listening and like mistakes and how if I can learn from somebody else's mistake that I don't have to make, huge. So
Yeah.
what comes to mind?
Gosh, I think it's a huge part of growth is that failure. And it's something that I feel like as business owners, like there's like this big shame stigma surrounding it. Like, like we're learning as we're growing, even if you're coming out of college with an MBA, you're owning your own business, as you know, Caleb, it's a different beast. You never know on any given day what, it is. It's, we call it? It's owning a business. It's like it's bipolar. It's you have to be ready for it all on any given moment. So those mistakes, I don't even, I mean, I guess they are mistakes, but and failures, they are learning experiences. What is one? Costing, like right now, especially in this particular time, and even like in the post-COVID era, and you've done business through that time frame, it is oh my gosh. And it's hard because you don't want to be putting like it comes back to the customer. It's always like when you're recosting your menu items, your produce in the produce world, it fluctuates every single week. So you're with the way that you're costing is on a low and a high end, and coming in the middle and making it reasonable for the customer. But now it's like, it's so I feel like some costing.
You should list your smoothies at market price.
Market.
Right?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. Like the fish of the day.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Yep. It's so I think early on, one of my biggest mistakes was I got in and I looked around and did my market research and picked like an average for cost. I didn't actually cost out my products. So that was in the first probably year that when I started doing smoothies and bowls and things like that, I started working with a business mentor. And he came to me and said, well, can I look at, your menu items and how you costed things? And I'm like, well, that's what they charge over there, and we're lower than them. So I think we're good. He's like, you haven't costed out anything? Talk about embarrassing, so embarrassing. And it's like, oh gosh, yeah, I'm new business owner here. But you haven't costed your things out? Do you know how much that cup costs? No. It was for the case, it was $80 for the case, there was a lot of that. And that's the stuff that too, most businesses fail in the first 3 years because their menu isn't costed appropriately. Yeah. They're not managing their costs. They're not managing those expenses. It's not just about that top line and what's coming in the door. It's something that, we talk about in meetings is, it is so important to be managing those costs because there really isn't a lot that comes to the bottom line, right. in the food industry, in a very niche food industry too. So you have to be very, very careful with that.
Yeah. We had a price increase in the fall of last year, finally, that we probably should have had significantly before that. Mm-hmm. And it was because of all those little things. Like, I know our jars had been creeping up, but like, oh, I didn't realize it had gotten like this bad. Like, oh, okay, this is why things are like so crazy tight. Because we had costed it, but like we hadn't like updated that properly and made our prices like reflect those costs in a healthy way. And I hate raising prices. I hate it.
It's the worst. We just actually did one, and I'll tell you what, that whole entire weekend we're texting each other. It's like, I feel so sick. You can give all the notice in the world. Not everybody's going to read, the updates on the, and so it's going to come to a surprise to some customers. And you feel, especially because there is other in business, people do price gouge and people take advantage of the economic climate and do that. And it's like, it's so slimy and you feel like that, and I hate that. So it's like, I'm feeling sick. It's Monday. Oh my God, it's Monday. It's 6 a.m. Monday. I'm feeling sick. And it, you know what, Caleb, it's fine. Nobody, it's rare that somebody may mention it, but our customers are so incredibly gracious.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we don't ever want to take advantage of that, but price increases are the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It is just, ugh.
I think too, just getting people to understand like our products. Like I tell Kate this story. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I had a guy who came in and got a clean coffee smoothie all the time, and that has your nut butter in it.
Of course.
Yes.
It is
I love
one
the
of
clean coffee one.
everybody loves clean coffee. Like it is one of our top selling smoothies. And he would come in and he would always like just mention the price of it, like so expensive, but he like kept coming back for it. So one day I said to him, I go, I can make it for you for half the price. And he's like, you can? I was like, yeah, I can totally do that. What I can do is I can add some ice to it. I can use Jiffy, which has seed oil. Which has seed oil.
Say that word.
Palm oil.
Is it Jiffy or Jif?
I don't know.
What is it?
I'm not saying it. I don't even know what you're
Wait,
talking
let me get a jar.
Seed oil, palm oil.
I can use Folgers coffee instead of Speakeasy locally roasted.
Speakeasy
That's
rocks.
not shellacked
Yeah.
with fragrance or whatever they do to their coffee beans. And then I can also use a aerosol can of whipped cream from the dollar store. We make our whip from scratch.
Do you
Our
really?
yes,
Yeah.
Oh.
our whip has vanilla, coconut milk, and it has maple syrup, which is from trees in Green Lake. So
Whoa.
we don't.
I would like to hear there being some nut butter in there in the future, but other
In
than that,
that-
that sounds like
With peanut butter
the whip.
whip.
Can you imagine?
We could probably do a
that
peanut
sounds
butter like
really good.
for
Yeah.
coffee. And then we
The
use our
wheels are
local,
turning.
local coffee.
Great
We
idea.
use local peanut butter. And we don't put any ice or water or anything into your smoothie. So you're paying for all of that fiber, all of those good ingredients. You're not getting palm oil. You're not getting added sugar. You're
Not
not.
getting half a cup of ice.
You're not
Right.
getting. Yeah, you
Right.
want a half a cup of ice? I could charge you half. Like,
Yes.
What did you say? What was his response?
He
He wasn't interested.
he
probably,
was
right?
he was a little
Yeah.
disgruntled, but he did have a.
It's disgruntled.
He did have he was kind of like, oh, that's the coffee you use in this. Like, because they don't understand.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
the transparency of what we do is available to those who want to look for it and just not slap, that's expensive. That's expensive.
Yeah.
I think too we could go ahead and share the price. I want to say it's like what, $9.99ish, $10.99,
For a 16-ounce smoothie,
Yeah, I don't
it's
even-
$9.25. Was it?
$9.25.
Wait,
It's $9 for
$9.
16.
it's a $9.
Yeah,
$9.
16 ounce.
16
You can
ounce,
get
right.
you can get a 12 ounce, which is more, and then you can get double everything, double the peanut butter, double
You can
everything.
biggie size it.
Yes, in a 24 ounce, which people do that all the time too. The 24 ounce is huge. Like it's like there's so much peanut butter in it. It's massive. It's breakfast,
They're
lunch,
really
and dinner.
popular. I'm
They're
so
so
surprised.
popular.
You're not talking like $20, like $9 or whatever.
$9 for a 16 ounce. Yeah.
That's you're right in line. I feel
Fully
like.
healthy.
Same thing
Yeah.
on like
Yeah.
the lower end.
Businesses.
of,
You're
like,
supporting,
a lot of really
like
good
keeping
stuff.
it in the local economy, which I
You're
think is so cool.
Yeah.
You're supporting 4 local businesses in that
Yeah.
smoothie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Love that.
insanity. Like,
Oh, that's a
Yes.
good way to think of that.
yes.
It's a fast
I
wow.
like that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fast fun.
So cool.
But it's like but we're open to discussion for people's opinions at any moment. Like, people don't understand juice. Our juice has 10 to 12 pounds of produce in one juice.
Yeah.
It is insane the amount of produce. The cost of juicers, just Google it. Like, we have put so much into not, like, I can't curse, right? Half it. Like,
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
I mean, is that even a curse? Okay. We don't have anything. Wait, okay. I'm sorry. Rewind and edit. We don't cut corners. There we go.
There you go.
So, but it's like something that I'm
There you
so
go.
passionate about when I like sit in the office at Royersford and I can hear customers like arguing with the girls about price and stuff like
Really?
that. And I just am like,
Do they really argue?
yeah, people say stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. They don't argue, but like, you
Yeah.
know, they're like, oh wow. Ooh, sheesh.
Yeah.
Shush.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll hear that even about the toast. You know?
Yeah,
It's like-
yeah. So our toast is
We-
local sourdough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
you know, like you're getting a real avocado on your avocado toast, or nut butter on your toast.
Yeah.
So that's
Again,
it's
you
what
guys aren't crazy
it's our brand.
price-wise on that
No.
stuff.
No.
Well, not when I go
That's-
other places to eat, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
Brand
Yeah.
standards mean a lot to us, you know,
Yeah.
and that doesn't just go for what we put into our food, but it goes into how our employees treat people. That we're not transactional. I know about my customers' vacations. We know about when he's getting his wisdom teeth pulled, and we're going to see him after for his smoothie and can't use a straw. He has to use a spoon. You know,
Yeah.
like we know all about our customers and our employees. I walked in the other day and my 2 employees were sitting there talking, and I go into the back. I'm like, is that like your grandparents? They're like, no, it's just customers.
Yeah.
The
I
way they
hear
were
that all the
treating,
time.
yes,
Yeah.
the way they
the
treat.
best.
Yep.
You walk in for an experience, a vibe, and you leave feeling good about what you're putting in your body and good about how we made you feel.
Yeah.
When you walk into a bigger franchise, that's why I don't like that word either. You're transactional. You're a number. You know, you're no one's asking you about your. You know, you look great today. Did you lose weight? Like no one's
Yes, I did
noticing
a
you.
class.
Yes. You are glowing, Caleb. You must be on a juice subscription. He's like, actually, it's just peanut butter. I do a nightly peanut butter mask.
There's another line for you.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Perfect.
Oh, that's gonna be your next reel.
Put that on the gram.
Did you guys know that you put this? It produces collagen and
Add some collagen in it. Yeah.
We
yeah.
have a new we have
A new skincare
social,
line?
We have a new social media influencer that we're working with.
Oh,
oh,
I saw the videos.
Her name is Peanut
Yes.
Butter Patty.
Yes.
and I feel like she might need to do a peanut butter face cleanse.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll have to
Face-
see.
you can tell
We'll have
it's
to see.
Face mask. Yeah.
face
That's
mask.
so
you can tell
funny.
he's not up on his
Excuse me, face mask.
yeah his skincare.
The beauty.
Yeah, your skincare.
Yeah.
This episode of the NuttyCast is brought to you by Raw Replenish, home of the world-famous crunchy peanut butter cup bowl made with, I'm going to guess, 7 pounds of peanut butter in each bowl, only $13.75. And I mentioned it's made with our peanut butter. Look how amazing this is. I can't wait to put this in my face. All right, Raw Replenish.
This episode was brought to you by Nutty Novelties, the only nut butters we trust at Raw Replenish.
Mm.
All right, so I've got one more question for you guys. So I'm going for like how I built this with a faith component. So, are you guys people of faith? Kate, I know you are. And how does your faith play in your business practices? How would Raw Replenish be different if it wasn't for your faith? Stuff like that. Take it away.
It's yeah. Go ahead, Kristen.
I'll just
Yeah.
start quick. So I too am a woman of faith, and for me, you know, when I started this, I was at a certain point in my faith, and then through some personal trials, I grew very, very much in my faith, and it's really what you have to turn to in times of, you know, days where you just feel as a business owner like, what am I doing? I'm failing at everything, you know, and that's the direction that I turn, because if it wasn't for that, I think I would just spiral,
Yeah.
you know, into that self-loathing, and I'm just failing at this. But somehow he turns it around, and
Yeah.
you know, I feel like through every moment of feeling like I'm failing, it's right on the other side of that is this feeling of like, holy crap, like I'm doing this, you know, I'm doing this. And along the way, I've met incredible friends, you know, and building amazing friendships with people, with employees. And it's through, by the grace of God, that it was all put in my path. Because again, my story is I didn't go out there searching for it. It was brought to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Great.
So, and then to have another woman of faith in my life is just like the blessing in it all.
Yeah, that's what it all boils down to faith and foundation at the end of the day with everything. I think in every aspect of not just business but life in general is that full surrender. It's not a perfect walk by any means, you know. It's not in fact it's quite a narrow path, and as entrepreneurs, I think a lot of other business owners can relate, that, you know, we do walk a very narrow path, and entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. And I can't imagine people that do it without faith, because there's moments of despair and hopelessness at times, that if it weren't for having a strong foundation in faith, it's like, yeah, we wouldn't be sitting here today if it weren't for a lot of prayer, a lot of surrender, and a lot of growth. And again, the relationships, the people that I feel like God puts into my life in particular I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for asking that question.
Yeah.
I have a regular occurrence. I feel like it's become almost a daily practice where I have to remind myself that, like, okay, Nutty Novelties, it's God's first. Like, I'm here. I'm like a steward. I'm thankful to be in this role, but like, it's just easy for me to put a whole lot of pressure on myself, or it's easy for me to like look ahead and be like, I'm about to spend $13,000 on almonds next week.
Yeah,
that's a real number.
Yeah.
And my credit card is that payment's next week too, and that's 16. And okay. Yeah. Thankfully, we have money coming in too. It's not just the out, but like, it's easy for me to just see the big numbers going out, and just be like,
trusting.
Man, and even it's been years. It's been years of this where it's like every week or two, you know, I've got big costs like this, and God has carried me through, and we've made it. And last year we were like barely profitable, but we still eked out a profit, and I was just like super grateful for that. It's weird because it's been so long, and yet I still need to like remind myself, like, okay, God's in control. You've had you know, big costs like this before, and He's always provided, and you've always made it through. And who's to say it will be any different this time around? Like, God will continue to provide.
And I think too, when you take the focus off the money, like you take your focus off the money and put it in other directions, the money always follows. You know, the profits follow, the good sales days follow. Because I think money can take us in a
That's totally true too.
bad direction.
I'm also too just money focused in general.
Yeah,
because like it's a business. Like it's
well, it is a business. It's not to when
eats and lives and breathes money, dollars.
Yeah.
It's like but I want to separate that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's 90 novelties. 90 novelties eats and breathes dollars.
Yeah.
But I'm a person, and God's got me.
Yeah.
You know, regardless. And it's hard to separate that sometimes, because Nutty's my whole freaking life.
Yeah. But through Nutty, you are building relationships, and you're doing more than just making money.
I like things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Who knows?
And that's something like Kristen, like just as you said, like just to see you grow, and we started business right around the same time. It's to see Nutty Novelties is everywhere. Down at the Jersey Shore, I'll be at the farmers market.
Yes.
There'll be a stand.
I love when I go somewhere. I'm like, I know them.
It's just so cool in a very humble, creative. You know, it's you know, there's other peanut butter vendors out there, and I couldn't even tell you what their names are. You have
Giffy.
But it really is. It's something to, you know, it's. I see the same thing with Nelson and Speakeasy Coffee. You know, it's neat to see. There's I can name so many other businesses right now that we all started right around the same time. Yeah. And watching the growth and seeing, because when you just said, like, you live and breathe, what did you say about, you know, the Nutty Novelties, you're everything. That's something we just talked about over the weekend. Yeah. Like, sometimes it is hard to be like, all right, Kate has a life outside of Raw Replenish. Do we?
Is there life outside of Raw Replenish?
I know, like, two little kids. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. And it is, and even like a 10 o'clock text message, like, sorry, it's the weekend. It's like, what weekend? What? Like, there is no, we no longer apologize for those types of texts anymore. Cause it's like, but that is something that
we're all up at 10:30 thinking about
the next
business.
If we start grating the egg on the toast.
Yeah, that's
Like a random group text
Yep.
is like, what do you think that this would do? Like, just the most random. But it's hard to not put the money, focus on money when you're like, last week locking in orange pricing and spending $1,000 on oranges
Yes.
for the next, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we needed to buy a pallet because prices are going up. And it's like, who would have thought?
Right.
And then, you know, it's just
interest rates, credit lines, you know, I mean, it's what goes in goes right back out, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
it's
in and out.
Oh, my bank account's up here.
yeah, it's
Within
the rent and,
within
and
seconds.
Oh, yeah.
payroll.
Within
Yep.
within a refresh.
Yeah.
we talked to our staff about that too.
Sometimes
so
I don't
realize,
refresh for
like,
that reason.
that's a big part of what we do, you know, like not only our customers, you know, this is their money that they're spending and creating quality products, but you have to be very intentional about, you know, following the recipe. I can't tell you how many times we have, it's different in Gilbertsville than it is in Pennsbury. The smoothies are better here, you know, like that's something we're
I get
really,
more peanut
really
butter when I do.
Oh,
when I
really?
get.
yes.
And then we're coming down on our staff, and then
Yeah.
I lay in bed and go, man, it really would be easier if we just scooped an acai sorbet and not used organic unsweetened acai in our bowls and be like,
Yeah.
Be uniform.
stick to our brand standards, Kate. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, we could just be scooping and it would be the same every single time, but
Yeah.
we do things differently, and doing things differently is
Everything is made
is
to
a
order.
training, and
Order
you
fresh.
just you walk into the kitchen during a rush and I see staff just going with the acai, you know what I mean, not measuring it, nothing, and you're just like,
Yeah,
like,
oh, I know.
you guys, like, that is
ching ching. You hear the dollar, you know.
yeah. So it is, but our focus from the day to day is 100% money. So you kind of have to meditate on it at the end of the day and probably the beginning of the day to reset your focus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we woke up texting about, money.
Yeah.
Right? Like that set the
making
tone
sure
for our
there's
day.
enough for payroll, making sure
Yes.
there's enough for rent, making sure that, you know, like employees get paid first. As you know, there's multiple months in a row where the business owners don't get paid. You know, you have to keep the business going and having that faith that it's going to keep growing if it is meant to be. So. Yeah.
But we love it.
Yes, we do. I wouldn't
We
want it
love
any
it.
other
It's a
way.
joy serving the
Yes.
community.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being
Yes.
on today.
Oh my God.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for sharing
It's fun.
so authentically. This was awesome. I forgot to tell you this part. So at the end, I always say, as always, and then at the same time, all four of us are going to say, stay nutty, super loud and annoying.
Okay.
So, as always, stay
Stay nutty!